We're gonna go make a minnow run. We're gonna catch some bluegill. We're gonna put them in a bucket and we're gonna go feed the bass. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go, Jack.
Come on, Jack. Come on, Maggie girl. You ready? Let's go.
It's on the minnow time.
Here we go.
We're going to catch some bluegill.
Okay, here we are at the catfish farm. You ready? Let's go catch some perch.
Yeah.
Lead the way, partner. Okay, here's all our traps. We're fixing to put them in the water.
Grasshopper. Grasshopper.
Okay, here we are at the catfish farm and the bluegill farm. And we're going to put some floating catfish food in each one of these, just a little bit. We're going to catch some bluegill. Now this 3/4 acre tank here is full of catfish and bluegill. Now I did put some golden shiners in here too, but the bluegill are just growing crazy. I do have some green sunfish in here. I don't know how they got in here, but we've got a few of them. We're trying to bring them out and leave them out. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, 2 more to go. As you see, we got our little Viking chair. When we come down here with a little R&R, put a few catfish poles out, we sit back and get comfortable. And the last one going in. I used some pool noodles where this would float and keep it above the water. The other 3 I've got sunk down in about 3 to 5 foot of water. And we're gonna put this one in. We'll toss it out there and let it float. And we're gonna let that stuff do its thing, and we're gonna come back in about 30 to 45 minutes. Now, if I wait too long, those minnows start swimming in and out of the holes. So if we can catch them in the holes, great. We'll come back in an hour and we'll see how full they are. And we'll take them over to the lake where we're feeding our bass. Well, we just set out about 4 of these traps for these bluegill here, and I've got about 30 bluegill in this 75-gallon aquarium. And as you can see, they're easily trained. I've had them in here for about 6 weeks. And that's what we're catching down below with these 4 traps. We're getting ready to go run those traps. And what we're doing is we're transferring these bluegill from the hatchery, which is the catfish farm, down to the lake. And we're feeding the bass these. That's the blood life of a bass lake. If you really want to grow trophy bass, is having plenty of bluegill. Starting the bluegill off first, getting them established, then introducing the bass to the lake. And if you'll notice, these bluegill here, they're about an inch and a half long. They're about 6 to 8 months old. They were born this past spring. And what I do is I feed them this Tetra Men tropical fish flake. And I just like to observe them and watch them, let them grow. And then I slowly transfer what I put in these aquariums down to the lake. Before we head off down to the catfish farm, what I want to do is take a little bit of time and talk about what we put in the catfish farm. It's been about 4 years ago, and we loaded that thing down with some fathead minnows and about 300 channel cat. And since then, we've taken some channel cat out. We've tagged them, moved them down to the lake, probably about 20. We've caught a few to eat as well. We've also got the bluegill that we just took a shot of in behind me here. And we've got 2 types of bluegill, the red ear and just the standard bluegill. There is an invasive species that got introduced into there somehow. And we're going to slowly try to get them out of there. And as we run these traps, we tend to look through there closely and pull those green sunfish out of there. And so that's what we're getting ready to do is we're getting ready to run the 4 traps down at the catfish farm. And then we're going to take all these bluegill, separate the green sunfish out of there, make sure they're half dead before I feed them the bass. Then we'll take, I've also got some golden shiners. We'll take the mosquito fish down there with the bluegill, and the golden shiners that we've got, we'll throw them back in the hatchery. I'd like to talk a little bit about these traps that we've got set up. This is what they look like. They range anywhere from 6 holes that are concave shaped to about 24 holes. And I buy these on Amazon, and like I said, I've got 4 of them set down below at the catfish farm. We're getting ready to run them. I want to talk a little bit about the green sunfish. That invasive sunfish, we're going to be looking for it. And it's an undesirable fish. And they have a oversized mouth, and they really, really do compete with the bass. And what happens is the juvenile bass, whenever they get, anywhere less than 9 inches, the same food source that they go after is also the green sunfish food source. So it's a very competitive thing. So what you want to do is you want to remove the green sunfish in the best environment. Like I said, the perch, the bluegill, everybody calls them perch, but the bluegill or the red ear shell crackers, they are the lifeblood of your bass lake. So when you really get those things going good, you can really grow some nice bass. And that's what we're trying to achieve here. Now, we did have a fish kill off. It's been about a year now, and I'll talk more in detail, and I'd like to do a video on what may have happened, how to prevent it, and what I've done thus far to prevent it from happening again. So we'll do a short segment on that as well. We're going to head down there in just a moment. It's been roughly about a good hour, and hopefully we're going to get a good haul. And what I'd like to talk about is this EK7000 Akaso cheap camera. It's an underwater camera, and actually I'm filming with it right now. I've got my iPro 13 set up, and I'm filming with it in this short segment along with the Akaso. So you can see this case that it comes with, and of course you don't get sound with it when you have that underwater or even in the case. You won't have any sound. And so we're going to go down there, get this camera set up, and we're going to get rolling. And we'll get that camera down below under the water. The water is very, very clear. It's going to be about 6 foot of water. There's a lot of bass. There's a few catfish, lots of bluegill. And we're going to be filming and dumping the bait fish in the water and watching the bass feed. Wow, these polarized glasses are just about wore out. The film is coming off of them. When I cleaned them with Windex, they're just kind of peeling off. And these are 100% UV sunlight blocked. It really lets you see down into the water very, very good. Now, what we're fixing to head when we get these bluegill, we've got about 5 to 6 foot of water, and it's pretty doggone clear. So we should be able to get some really good shots. Time to buy some new glasses. Okay, here we are rolling back into the catfish farm here where all the bluegill are. And you'll see here we've got some nice pretty weather, and we've turned off the pump for the aeration. As you can see, I had to pull the fake rock off of here. We got a cooling fan installed, and we hit the switch on this little pump here, and we've got 3 diffuser plates. It runs this, it's about 1 acre, I'll just call it a 1 acre catfish farm full of bluegill and minnows. We've got lily pads going on. You see our trap out there floating, and it is prime and ready for a big haul. That's what we hope for. Let's go check it out and see what we got in there. Let's get a little bit of water going here and get some aeration going. We'll just dip this bucket down. This thing's about 4.5 foot low. We've had lots of rain months back, and it's been kind of dry. We'll just put a little bit of water in here and get the bubbles going. And we'll pull up our first trap. Okay, we got mostly mosquito minnows. There's a few small perch in here. Get this unzipped. This is good bait for the bluegill. We got about 2 dozen of mosquito minnows out of that haul. And if you can see that, that's what a mosquito minnow looks like. It's actually called a mosquito fish. Very invasive and they multiply very quickly. Let's put him in the bucket. Here's some of these 1-inch bluegill that's just born this past spring. We're fixing to go feed the bass with him. All right, here's the second net coming up. 2 dozen to 3 dozen bluegill in there. There's one of the golden shiners. Ooh. Golden shiner. We got about 10 pounds in there that we put him back in. Nothing but bluegill. Nice little run. There's one. It's a green sunfish, tiny. That's the ones I'm trying to get out of here. All right. Come on out of there, little guy. Okay. 2 or 3 hit the floor. Get these guys, picked up. I have noticed that we're catching more bluegill. Oh boy, there's a big old golden shiner. We've caught more bluegill on the shady side. Here it is October and we've got, ooh, that big old shiner. My goodness. That is one healthy shiner. That's a golden shiner right there, boys. Look at that beautiful thing. Get him back in the water. That's broodstock right there. Yeah. These bigger perch are going back. Uh-oh, there's that invasive fish I'm looking for. That's the green sunfish. Here we are right here. What I'll do is put him over here in the bucket with no water. And we'll feed him up in a minute. We don't want the resources to go to waste. I'm gonna try to scoot this bucket up here so you can get a view of this. This is about 40 bluegill. Nice little run. Oh yeah, the bass are gonna eat good today. There's a couple of them on the ground. Get these little guys picked up and then in the water. Get the aeration going. Nothing like a little swim. He's chasing a frog. He's fixing to shake. He's fixing to shake. He's gonna get right over here by me. Every dog does it. Now let's look for lizards and snakes. There's a big frog. He don't even know that's a frog. I can see all the mosquito fish right at the surface. Now you notice where Jack, my border collie, climbed out of the water. He left mud stains. We have a green tint on this pond, and what we did is we fertilized it, and that green tint is from that fertilizer. And it puts all the food source that these little minnows need and the smaller fish need, the plankton and all that good stuff to make them grow. And we do that about 3 or 4 times a year. We just started, actually, this is our first application. Here it is October, we did it a month ago, and then we're gonna start back up with this program on fertilization probably around March of next year. Okay, we got about anywhere from 60 to 80 bluegill in the bucket. We got them aerated with our Beyond Bait Pump aerator. Works off battery. What I found is if I take a smaller bucket and put it right on top of that water level right there, that water don't splash out. You don't lose any minnows. It works really good. We're going to get a close-up shot of what's in the green bucket, and we've got 3 invasive species that we pulled out, the green sunfish, and out of about 60 to 80 bluegill. And some of them bluegill are red ears, some of them are just plain bluegill, and that's a pretty good average. Okay, so there's your green sunfish. We've got 3 of them in there slowly dying, and we want them to have a little bit of kick. That way the bass can, number 1, attack it. Number 2, have an easy meal. They tend not to strike anything dead, I've noticed. So we're going to ease on over there and see if we can't dial in some nice bass. Okay, we're going to turn this aerator back on. I had it turned off due to the noise. I'm going to kick that back in. Get our 3 diffuser plates going again. Walk down there and look at that. Watch them kick in. You can see all the algae where I fertilized this pond floating across here. The wind changed directions. Now I did forget about one net. Well, no, what I did is I pulled it out. There wasn't very many in it. I put it over here on the other side of the dock in the shade. And it was there about 5 minutes, and I caught another 40 bluegill. So we got upwards about anywhere from 90 to 110 bluegill. Here comes the aeration. Bubbling up. There it goes. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. Okay, we are ready to go to the bass lake. Okay, we got our fish in a 5-gallon bucket. We're coming up on the bass lake here. Me and my old good buddy Jack. Okay, here's our overflow structure. We're about 3 foot low. And here's our 10-acre bass lake. Let's go across the dam and over to the dock we go. Okay, we're pulling up on the dock here. This lake is about 50 years old. And it's got a lot of bass in it. Here's our dock, our aeration. Now I'm going to shut that aeration down when we get down there. Well, no, I'm not, because that underwater camera does not have volume. Here we go. Okay. Here's our dock, and you can see all the fish swimming around down there in that clear water. I'm already seeing lots of bass. And some perch. And there's a tagged bass. There's another tagged bass. I see a lot of tagged bass. There's a big one right there. Oh, it looks like they're going to be feeding pretty good. All right, I'm excited. Let's get with it. Okay, I do want to mention that the reason why this water is so clear, we've had about 3 to 4 months of very little rain. The water has receded about 3 feet. we got a mass amount of growth in this lake. We've got the Natilla, the crabgrass, the coontail, and the American pondweed. So this water is extremely clear. Now, a month ago, I did some scuba diving and tried my scuba diving, and oh gosh, I had leaks on all my equipment. So I just did some snorkeling. Went around and snorkeled this thing 3 different times, and it's just really clear. I'm standing on this dock that I built a year ago. This is my first season that I've really went through with it, and more to follow on that. I've got more docks that I'm building on this lake and other tanks that I've built. I've got a crappie tank, what we call our crappie hole. We got the catfish farm we just came from, and got a couple more, one more long dock I'm putting in out here, and I'm going to do a video on that, and as well as building a short, small dock out on the crappie hole. And so we just built it. It's already full of water. It is receding. We're just going to wait and see how well the water performs before we start building the dock for that one. Okay, here we are going back down the dam, and we're going to go have some fun on the computer and learn how to edit and paste and put together and make a movie. Woo-wee, need some water. Come on, Jack, let's get a drink of water. Hot out there. Time for some water.
Subscribe to our channel.
We got some more great videos coming your way on the Craft and Recreation YouTube channel. Stay tuned.